Hi, I'm Abby Kearse, and welcome to Tupac Shakur in His Own Words. During the next half hour, we're going to take a look back at some highlights from some of the many interviews we've conducted with Tupac over the course of his tragically short life and career. Tupac was only 25 years old when he was shot down on the main drag of Las Vegas on September 7, 1996. After attending the Mike Tyson-Bruce Seldon boxing match, he died a week later after succumbing to his injuries. The first time we ever spoke to Tupac was back in January of 1992, 2 months after the release of his first solo album, Tupacalypse Now, and 1 day before the release of the movie Juice, in which he made his acting debut. At the time, Tupac was still a member of the Oakland rap act Digital Underground. Although he hadn't yet adopted his thug life stance, he seemed clearly ready to conquer the entertainment industry, if not the world.
What can we expect from Tupac in '92?
Static. It's gonna be static for sure. Cause what the rap audience ain't ready for is a real person. You know what I want to say, a real N-I-G-G-A. I'm coming out, I'm 100% real, I ain't compromising Nathan. Anybody that talk about me got problems, you know what I'm saying? It's gonna be straight up, like if I was a street person. That's how I'm coming at the whole world, and I'm being real about it, and I'm gonna grow with my music. The music I made now, my next album's gonna be better and more slamming. You know what I'm saying? But at the same token, I'm gonna be even that much more potent next year, and I don't want no garbage. Anybody talk about me, anybody diss Digital Underground, they got problems, because we large and we all over the country. Anybody diss us, they gonna get stomped. That's word is born, because this is money. So anybody try to take away Digital Underground's money as a whole, they got a problem. We're gonna suffocate them.
Man, what's your problem? You my problem! People sweat us on the street and you don't even give a I think you're exaggerating. That's bullshit, man!
Do you think that, you know, after doing this, that you want to do more acting?
Yes. I like that people come to me and go, you did a good job. You know what I'm saying? When all my career usually has been, you know, you guys or this or that. You know, I was loving that somebody came and said, Tupac, you were a great actor. You know, you did a great part. So now I want to, you know, do that even more and do other parts. I want to do better parts. Like, I want a Terminator 2 role or something different so people can really see the diversity. Because even now, I think some people are going, well, wait a minute. That's just him being him. How hard is it to be crazy? You know, now I want to do something, you know, sane. Or I want to be in love or something so people can see the diversity of what I can do.
In July of 1993, Tupac began work on his second movie starring opposite Janet Jackson in director John Singleton's Poetic Justice. It's hard to imagine an odder pairing, Jackson, the pop music diva, and Tupac, one of hardcore rap's favorites. According to Tupac, life on the set was interesting at all times.
Why you always so mad? You must ain't got no man because you don't never smile. Do you?
What do you want from me?
Nothing. Think you kind of fly.
There's an article that talks a lot about the fact that when you were making the movie and there was going to be a love scene, Janet Jackson insisted that you have an AIDS test, and you said, forget it.
Yeah.
Is that true?
It's absolutely true. It wasn't, I don't know if it was Janet that it came from, but I know that they suddenly, out of the blue, they wanted me to take an AIDS test for this love scene. And I did not agree, I did not disagree if we were really gonna make love. I said, if I could make love with Janet Jackson, I'll take 4 AIDS tests. But if I'm gonna do a love scene with her, just like somebody else did, and they didn't take a test, I'm not taking a test. Not only am I not taking the test, but get out of my trailer. You know, I was like, and they sent like 4 different people to ask me, like somebody else asked me. First they sent the producer, then they sent the black dude, then they sent John, then they sent a girl. You know, it don't matter who you send, I'm not taking one. It's just, to me, it was just like an insult, you know, just to ask me that.
Another thing that was written in this article was that, you know, you got on very well while you were making the movie, but then afterwards she changed her number. Is that true?
Yeah, it bothered me. I mean, I probably wasn't intentional. Everybody changed their number, but I mean, it was so, I really thought I made a friend. I thought, it was, I know Janet Jackson for life, you know. So the movie was always like, boo, this number has been changed. And it was like a movie. I mean, it was like the day after the movie wrapped. I did like, I said, man, it was like, and the last day I saw him, I saw Renee and saw her boyfriend. He's like, we're gonna go play the guns with the paint guns. We'll play paint guns. All right, I'm gonna call you. All right. This number's been changed. I said, oh, okay. So it was an act. Nah, but I think that's just, you know, whatever.
Poetic Justice wasn't much of a hit, but Tupac, with his intense big brown eyes and very capable acting abilities, proved he was a natural on the big screen. He went on to star in 3 more films, all of which were released after his death: the straight-to-video Bullet, the critically praised Gridlocked, and his last, Gang Related, which came out in October of 1997. When we return, we'll have more words from Tupac Shakur, including his views on the evolution of so-called gangster rap music. Don't go away. Welcome back to Tupac Shakur in his own words. By March of 1994, Tupac had become something of a household name. However, it wasn't so much for his music or film work as his increasingly high-profile run-ins with the law. I had a chance to interview Tupac the night before he was due to be sentenced for assaulting director Alan Hughes, who had fired him from the cast of Menace to Society. At this point, Tupac had become so notorious, he had attracted the attention of a woman with considerable notoriety herself. Madonna, who was interested in meeting with Tupac, sat in and watched this interview from off-camera. What do you think you're most known for, your acting, your music, or the controversy that surrounds you?
My big mouth. My big mouth. I got a big mouth. Can't help it. I talk from my heart. I'm real. You know what I'm saying? Whatever comes, comes. But my controversy probably. And it's not my fault. I'm trying to find my way in the world. You know, I'm trying to be somebody instead of just make money off everybody. You know what I'm saying? And so I go down paths that haven't been traveled before, and I usually mess up. But I learn, you know what I'm saying? I come back stronger. You know, I'm not talking ignorant, you know what I'm saying? So I obviously put thought into what I do. So I think my mouth, my controversy. I have not been out of the paper since I joined Digital Underground. I've been in all, you know what I'm saying? It's never, my name has not been not uttered, you know what I'm saying? And that's good for me because I don't want to be forgotten. If I'm forgotten, then that means I'm comfortable. And that means I think everything is okay.
One day I'm gonna bust, blow up on this society. Why did you lie to me? I couldn't find a trace of equality. Work me like a slave while they laid back. Homie, don't play that. It's time to let them suffer the payback. I'm trying to avoid physical contact. I can't hold back. It's time to attack, Jack. They got me trapped.
It's interesting how hip-hop, rap music in the beginning, or a song like Grandmaster Flash's The Message, where basically they were saying, you know, it's like a jungle sometimes. I wish, you know, I wonder how I keep from going under. The whole root of what that song was basically saying, look, these are the problems here. You know, and here we are 10 years or plus later. The problems are still there, and the intensity of the music has built to the no hope, the I don't give a attitude. How did we get from Grandmaster Flash, The Message, to where we are now in hip-hop?
Again, you have to be logical. You know, if I know that in this hotel room they have food every day, and I'm knocking on the door every day to eat, and they open the door, let me see the party, let me see like them throwing salami all over I mean, just like throwing food around. Well, they're telling me there's no food in here. You know what I'm saying? Every day, I'm standing outside trying to sing my way in. You know what I'm saying? We are hungry, please let us in. We are hungry, please let us in. After about a week, that song is going to change to, we hungry, we need some food. After 2-3 weeks, it's like, you know, give me all the food, and breaking out the door. And after a year, you just like, you know what I'm saying, I'm picking the lock, coming through the door, blasting, you know what I'm saying? It's like you hungry, you reached your level, you don't want any more. We asked 10 years ago. We was asking with the Panthers. We was asking with them, you know, with civil rights movement. We was asking. You know, now those people that were asking, they're all dead and in jail. So now what do you think we're going to do? And we shouldn't be angry. And my raps that I'm rapping to my community shouldn't be filled with rage. You know what I'm saying? They shouldn't be filled with the same atrocities that they gave to me. In the media, they don't talk about it. So in my raps, I have to talk about it. And it just seems foreign because there's no one else talking about it.
Right. Well, playing devil's advocate, somebody might say, well, what does Tupac have? He's a movie star. He's got, you know, hit records. What does he have to complain about?
And I'm going to tell you, it's like being the last person alive, you know what I'm saying? After 3 days, you can't do anything. What can I do? Where can I go? There's no black neighborhood, you know what I'm saying, with black people who have the same amount of money as me. You know what I'm saying? There's richer and there's poorer. There's no just, you know, did a movie, got a little bit of money, live in okay black neighborhood. I have to be in a white neighborhood, so I don't fit in. That's hell. It's hell when you can't be around your peers. All my life grew up around black people, poor people, but I can't live around poor people now because they'll rob me. And why would they rob me? Because they're starving, because there's no money here. But they're telling me, now that I made a little money, I have to move here. So it's not like no one's ever trying to deal with this section. They're just moving away from it. And we're gonna have more stars coming from the ghetto, but they're gonna all move this way. You know what I'm saying? So it's like all the society is doing is leeching off the ghetto. They use the ghetto for their pain, for their sorrow, for their culture, for their music, for their happiness, for their movies, to talk about boys in the hood. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to be another I don't want to be 50 years old at a BET We Shall Overcome Achievement Awards. You know what I'm saying? Not me. You know, I want when they see me, they know that every day when I'm breathing, it's for us to go farther. You know, every time I speak, I want the truth to come out. You know what I'm saying? Every time I speak, I want to shiver. You know, I don't want them to be like, they know what I'm going to say because it's polite. They know what I'm going to say. And even if I get in trouble, you know what I'm saying? Ain't that what we're supposed to do? I'm not saying I'm going to rule the world or I'm going to change the world, but I guarantee that I will spark the brain that will change the world. And that's our job, is to spark somebody else watching us. We might not be the ones, but let's not be selfish, and because we're not going to change the world, let's not talk about how we should change it. I don't know how to change it, but I know if I keep talking about how dirty it is out here, somebody's going to clean it up.
Still to come, a look at what has happened in the year plus since Tupac's death, and we'll have more from Tupac Shakur in his own words. Welcome back to Tupac Shakur in his own words. It's been over a year since Tupac's murder, and the case is still unsolved with no new leads according to Las Vegas police. However, the interest in Tupac's life and work still lives on. To help put in perspective what has gone on since Tupac's murder, we spoke with a close friend of his, Tretch from Naughty by Nature. The two started hanging out back in the days when they both worked as roadies, Tretch with Queen Latifah and Tupac with Digital Underground. Here's Chris Connolly with the recap.
No fairy tales for this young black male. Some see me stranded in this land of hell, jail, and crack sales. Keep your head up.
We can feel where that man came from. His suffering and his pain is the same suffering and pain we going through.
I wish I had a chance to actually meet Tupac. His music meant a lot for our people.
In the years since the death of Tupac Shakur, the emotions his murder stirred up have quieted. But the debate over his legacy, who he was and who he might have become, has begun to rage. Was he a gangster who kept it real all the way to an early grave? A James Dean-style cultural rebel? Or was he, might he have become, a political voice for the dispossessed, in the tradition of Malcolm X? Only now are those questions starting to emerge, after a year in which, at least in the minds of many fans, Tupac was still very much alive.
Look, y'all can watch. I feel so confident and so sure about the man that I am that you can watch me. You can watch me when I fall, when I cry, when I get shot, when I go to jail, when I die. You can watch it.
Maybe it was because everyone did watch, and because Tupac had spoken about death so frequently, that his murder seemed somehow both expected and unreal. Just another chapter in his dramatic autobiography. 4 days after he died, Tupac's label, Death Row Records, released I Ain't Mad At Ya. That set the tone for a year in which release after release of Tupac's records, films, and videos showed Tupac in violent, even deadly situations, but never dealt with the reality of his brutal death. Rumors that he was still alive burgeoned in November, once fans got their hands on the cryptic notations inside the posthumously released Machiavelli album. Some even suggested that Tupac had taken the real Machiavelli's advice and faked his own death.
Right now, it's like he's the Black Elvis. You know what I mean? Yo, I seen Pop. He out there. He's somewhere.
I mean, you have an album with Machiavelli as at the heart of it, and Machiavelli, faking your own death, and people ascribe, rightfully so, tremendous intelligence to Tupac. But I think what they're trying to do is avoid the fact that if you deal with bullets and guns and you get brutal, you die.
People in general who feel that gangster rap is dead. My album is going to show you that gangster rap is not dead. Because I plan to keep it alive
1 year ago, Death Row Records had a sound and a reputation unlike any contemporary record company, and Tupac was the label's newest and brightest star, willingly molded into the very epitome of the gangsta rapper. Without him, Snoop was again thrust to the forefront, but his long-awaited second album failed to make an impression, especially when released just a week after the hyper-vitriolic Machiavelli.
Still can't believe that you got Pac rushing you, up in you, that's the real. All rats get killed, who can you trust? Only time reveals.
Meanwhile, the night that was the beginning of the end for Tupac may also have marked the beginning of the end for Death Row. Label head Suge Knight was sent to prison for a probation violation, thanks to a videotaped altercation just hours before the shooting. Federal investigators continued to probe Death Row's alleged gang ties and its illegitimate business practices, while the company's mighty stable of rappers was suddenly dwindling, turning what was once America's most profitable independent label into the music industry's most chaotic and unstable commodity in just 12 months.
If I die or whatever, it can happen. If anything would have happened to me, it's about 3 albums ready. And I like that.
When you think the end could be near, you're going to want the people, you're going to want the world to know everything that you got inside. That's why he stayed in the studio. He stayed making something new, because he had so much in a little time to tell.
Tupac left behind over 170 tracks and several hundred unpublished poems. But someone needs to cultivate that raw material into a legacy. With potentially lucrative tracks and substantial revenues yet to be earned from his image, there's been tremendous legal wrangling over his estate. Just 6 weeks after his death, Tupac's mother, Afeni Shakur, filed suit against Death Row Records to stop it from selling unlicensed Tupac merchandise. She would later file another suit against the label, charging that it was withholding millions in royalties from the Shakur estate. Death Row responded that Tupac actually owed the label money to repay cash advances it claimed he'd spent on cars and jewelry. Suddenly, it seemed as if everyone wanted a piece of Tupac, from his natural father, who'd abandoned the family when he was 4 and now wanted half of his son's estate, to his chief cultural critic, C. Dolores Tucker, who claimed that just one reference to her in one of Tupac's songs was worth $10 million in damages.
As one other rapper who then he said the freaks come out at night, and in the midst of the dark night of his soul, many people have come forth to claim this legacy who honestly just don't deserve it.
Essentially, we have 2 to 4 black males who are inside the vehicle, and we have no further description.
The Las Vegas police investigation into Tupac's murder never got much further. In March, MTV News reported that Shakur's murder had touched off a gang war in Compton, California, and that Compton police informants had heard that Orlando Anderson, the same man who was beaten by Knight and Shakur at the MGM Grand, was the triggerman in the Shakur killing. The day after our report aired, Anderson spoke briefly to CNN.
And I just want to let everybody know, you know what I'm saying, I didn't do it.
Las Vegas police did briefly consider Anderson a suspect, but have since all but closed down their investigation, saying officially that they think they know who killed Tupac, but don't expect to get enough evidence to ever make an arrest.
Look, they could kill somebody else, they find the person the next day. You got 2 of the biggest hip-hoppers out there, don't nobody know nothing.
The March murder of the notorious B.I.G. was instantly and unavoidably compared with Tupac's murder 6 months earlier. Both were drive-by shootings after high-profile events, and both left police with few leads. Where Tupac's death sparked little public sentiment from his label mates, Biggie's friends rushed to memorialize their man in a public way.
First, I'd like to say I wish we never had to make this record, and I wish we never had to make this video, but that's our reality. And B.I.G. will never forget you.
That's how you supposed to put it down. Your homie go, you supposed to put it down for him. Keep his name on the streets. No doubt.
Sadly, it took a full year for the first major dedication to Tupac to hit the airwaves.
It's like the purpose behind this record, I really didn't see him sent off, you know what I mean, just right, the way I thought, you know what I mean?
You's a wild, hungry brother who could never sit still. Said you couldn't rest till you seen a mill. Homie, I felt you. We was back and forth from borough to projects with forts. Damn, I wish they knew how much you love New York.
Besides paying tribute, Treach and the other keepers of Tupac's flame hope that Tupac will be remembered as a communicator and not just an instigator.
People got to listen to Pac. There's so much that he said and was saying that that touched and like really hit emotions that a lot of us go through every day, no matter what you doing. No matter what you doing. Either you thought about it and ain't know how to say it, but when you hear it from him, you like, I'm feeling that. I'm feeling that.
And many people have walked away with different views on Tupac. His music and life were filled with contradictions. On one record, he would praise women, on others defame them. He would voice his concerns about crime and violence in the inner city and later release a song such as Hit 'Em Up, glorifying it. In interviews, Tupac often seemed like a misguided young man searching for a father figure he said he's never had, proving his manhood to the world through anger and violence. Along the way, Tupac touched many with his music and made a lot of friends, as well as offending and crossing others. Whether you were a fan of Tupac's or not, there is no argument he was another young life cut down way too soon.
The last time we talked, you said that you were best known for your big mouth. What do you feel like you're best known for now?
Taking 5 bullets. That surviving. I'm known as a survivor now. I hope so. For the jail thing, bullets and everything, controversies and everything. I hope so. And I want to be in the future known as somebody, you know, I want people to be talking about me like, you know, look, remember when he was real bad? Remember when Tupac was real bad? You know what I mean? Everybody changes. Everybody becomes better people. You know, we all should get that chance. I just want my chance.